Welcome back to Star Wars Sublight. Ahsoka Part 3 dials up the action and offers the audience a lesson in the Force. Strap in as we go through Ahsoka Part 3, Time to Fly. We'll recap and review the episode, dissect all the important details, select our most valuable player of the week, as well as fill you in on any characters you may not recognize but definitely should take note of, as we induct 2 new members into our Glup Shadow Hall of Fame. The episode opens with Ahsoka and Sabine en route to Seatos, and Sabine has resumed her Jedi training while in hyperspace. Meanwhile, General Hera Syndulla and the New Republic fleet are preparing to meet them at their location when Hera's pulled into a meeting with the New Republic Security Council. She tries to warn them of the imminent threat Thrawn poses, but the Council are wary of walking into yet another war. Over Seatos, Ahsoka and Sabine are ambushed by 2 squadrons led by Marok and Shin. Their ship is disabled and Ahsoka decides to mount a defense from the outside while Sabine works on the engines.
I hope you know what you're doing!
After a chase through a herd of Purrgil, they sit down in the forest of Seatos. Professor Hu Yang reveals the giant hyperspace ring that the fighters were protecting, and Baylan Skoll prepares a search party to hunt down the Jedi in the forest.
Hunt them down.
You're stuck.
All in all, this was a good episode which expanded on existing lore while satisfying those hungry for action. There was loads that happened in such a short episode, so here we go with all the interesting bits that you might have missed. Ahsoka has re-established a piece of lore from the earliest days of the saga, confirming that with enough time and dedication, anyone can learn to feel the Force.
If that's true, then why doesn't everyone use it?
Talent is a factor, but training and focus are what truly defines someone's success.
It's refreshing to hear this again after decades of confusion, and it opens the door for new Force-wielding heroes and villains to emerge in time. Ahsoka alludes to something called mastery of the basic Force, and uses telekinesis to move her drink across the table, so be prepared to see Sabine do something similar in episodes to come.
Start small.
Back in the cockpit, Professor Hu Yang points out that while Sabine might be the strangest Jedi initiate he's trained, she comes from a legacy of unconventional masters and apprentices.
I suppose you do come from a long line of non-traditional Jedi. In that way, she fits right in.
And he's completely right. Just look at these Jedi who would brush up against the code throughout their lives. Sabine is mentored by Ahsoka, who left the Jedi Order. Ahsoka was taught by the Chosen One himself,
This is where the fun begins.
who was taken on by Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Qui-Gon's defiance I sense in you. Need that you do not.
who was apprenticed to Qui-Gon Jinn,
Do not defy the Council, Master, not again.
I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan.
who in turn learned from Dooku, and even Yoda gets up to the odd bit of mischief. With all these Jedi being part of Sabine's Jedi family tree, it's no wonder her Jedi training is not exactly by the book. You'll notice that during the dogfight over Seatos, Shin is using a headset made famous during the Clone Wars by Anakin and Obi-Wan. The ships that make up her squadron also have a prequel-esque feel to them, and they look about as old as you'd expect from a 30-year-old fighter. Perhaps Morgan Elsbeth's entire fleet is scavenged. We've seen her use parts from Imperial Star Destroyers to build her hyperspace ring. Which, by the way, I have to wonder about. Is the ring being built to carry her flagship, the Eye of Sion, or is the Eye of Sion the ring that she's on board? When Ahsoka defended the T6 shuttle from space, it reminded me of her friend and mentor doing the same thing during an early episode of the Clone Wars. Plo Koon takes on separatist forces trying to kill stranded members of his clone battalion, the Wolfpack. It's fitting that Ahsoka does this now in defending her own Wolfpack, as she and Plo once shared a bond, Plo being the Jedi to discover her and bring her to the temple, where she would begin her Jedi training. Morgan Elsbeth's fleet is interesting. It appears that every station on the massive hyperdrive ring is manned by droids. I previously wondered if the ring's design was from another galaxy, potentially of Chiss design. It is built to rescue Chiss Admiral Thrawn after all, but stories set within the Chiss Ascendancy, which lies outside of the galaxy far, far away, reveal that the Chiss don't use droids like we're used to seeing in our regular part of the Star Wars cosmos.
Open fire.
Finally, Baylan Skoll doesn't look thrilled that he might have to make good on his promise to Elsbeth, that he will locate and destroy one of the last remaining Jedi in the galaxy.
Kill her. It'll be a shame. There are so few Jedi left.
There is conflict in him, and Morgan better hope her coin is enough for Baylan to keep his word. Now it's time to choose this week's MVP, the person who without them things could have turned out very differently in this episode. That's why this week it's got to go to none other than Ahsoka, for her daring defense in the void of space, allowing Sabine time to get their shuttle up and running again.
Ahsoka! Sabine! Did you fix the ship yet?
And finally, the time has come to induct not one, but 2 new members to our Glup Shido Hall of Fame. But before we do that, I wanted to invite you to join us here at Star Wars Sublight. During these post-shows, I like to bring us all out of hyperspace to explore the finer details of that galaxy far, far away. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, then why not sub to Sublight if you haven't already? That way we can overanalyze the galaxy together. Nice. Glup Shido is a name used to identify characters from across the Star Wars saga making their debut in live action, but who have origins in another medium. They could be a background character returning from the pages of a book, a game, or across the many animated shows throughout the past few years. Only hardcore fans would spot these Glup Shidos in the wild, so if you recognize these ones, then go ahead and take a bow. First up this week is a member of the New Republic Security Council, Senator Hamato Xiono. In this episode of Ahsoka, he's the cowardly senator who stymies Hera's plan to take the fleet to Seatos. But he's also the father of Kazuda Kaz Xiono, star of the animated Star Wars Resistance.
Father? Father, you're alive!
The animated show which ran 2 seasons between 2018 and 2019.
How are you? Did the rest of the family make it?
Yes.
We've seen Hamato only once before, also in hologram form during the 2nd episode of Season 2. Back now to the Ahsoka series, and he doesn't seem to take the threat of Thrawn seriously.
General, be honest. Isn't this just another attempt to gain New Republic resources?
And it seems like Xiono Sr. has a tendency to underestimate galactic threats, because in the years to come he'll also underestimate the First Order, barely escaping their catastrophic surprise attack on Hosnian Prime. So now you're all caught up on our first Glup Shido for the episode, and our second inductee to the Glup Shido Hall of Fame is young Jacen Syndulla, born to fly just like his mother Hera and son to fallen Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus.
Mom, is it true Aunt Sabine is going to be a Jedi?
Where did you hear that?
Chopper told me.
Jacen has only been seen briefly in the epilogue of Star Wars Rebels.
Spectre 7, Jacen Syndulla.
Jacen shares Twi'lek human heritage. He's grown a bit since we saw him last, but it's interesting to see he's still sporting his green hair, a trait no doubt passed on by his green-skinned mother. I'm interested to see which way Jacen Syndulla goes, if he becomes a great pilot like his mother Hera, or a powerful Force user like his father Kanan, although he certainly makes his preference known in the episode.
I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I know you do, Jacen.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Jacen. What did you make of Part 3, Time to Fly? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like this video if you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, the Force will be with you. Always.